Good afternoon, Mind Healers, and welcome to my channel. Great to talk to you again. And I thought I'd talk to you today about something that's quite unique, and it's critical thinking. Do you know what critical thinking is? Critical thinking is the concept developed over the past 2,500 years. It is the intellectual discipline of actively applying, analysing, or evaluating information gathered by observation, experience, reflection, reasoning, researching, communication as a guide to a belief. i.e., clarity, accuracy, precision, sound evidence, depth, breadth, and fairness. Thinking for yourself means not being a sheep. And you know, critical thinking means that you aren't a sheep. It means that you go with what's happening on in the world right now and think for yourself. Not only listen to your heart and your own intuition. Have a thought about where you're getting your information, where you're looking, who's telling you the information. Now, as I've mentioned before in previous videos, the first thing is that television means tell a vision. Is it your vision? Or is it somebody else's vision that can make up whatever they like and show it to you as the vision that you are then going to believe? And is that vision true or false? Do you investigate the information that's coming to you on a daily basis from the radio or the TV or any media coverage? Critical thinkers always look at many different avenues when they're researching. You know, like you wouldn't look on Google, for instance, because Google is controlled with information that's coming to you. You can use companies like DuckDuckGo, for instance, and that information is more true. And they also don't save your information and use it themselves later, which is the way it should be. So let me ask you these couple of questions. Do you think that people are being critical thinkers right now, or do you think they're being sheep? Do you think there's a need to feel that you're part of a pack? And do you think that there's division in decisions people are making, even though their human right is to make the decisions that they want to make on anything to do with their own bodies? So critical thinking comes into it, and this is where it's really quite interesting, I think, with critical thinking, is it comes up with who you are, what your profile is, whether you're a follower, whether you're independent, whether you like to live out of the comfort zone of self. And you know that I always talk about self. Are you listening to your higher self or your intuition? Is it giving you a little cue every now and then about, something's not quite right here? And the funny thing is, I've been talking to quite a few people about this lately, and everybody's starting to sort of unravel and go, there's something not quite right about what's happening right now on the planet. And the energy is different, and everything that's happening around us is swirling, and it's a bit like chaos, you know. And through chaos comes to the development of humanity, and the development of humanity moving forward and cleansing the earth and learning about self, because we really, really have lost contact with that. And that's why critical thinking is important, because if we're not thinking for ourselves and we're just going into other people and saying, what do you think? It means you've lost faith of your own ability to make a decision. And that sometimes isn't a really good decision, because some decisions we make are life and death, good and bad, successful, unsuccessful. So we need to learn to be responsible for ourselves, and with critical thinking, you need to be responsible for yourself because you do the research, you find out the material that you need, and you don't find it from just one source. And a lot of people are getting information from only one source, one at the moment, maybe one or two, which is through sound, through hearing and listening on the radio, and the other one is through a square box that sits in their lounge, family room area or kitchen. So what's important about that is that we do understand that I have the ability to make our own decisions, but when those decisions are being taken away from us, we need to dig deeper and see what is really going. Because have you ever heard of rose-coloured glasses, and you lift them up and wow, all of a sudden you see revealed before you what the truth really is. But if the rose-coloured glasses on, you're not seeing what's really going on. Some of that could be going on right now out there, and I really think that people need to think about their families and their children and their great-grandchildren that they may have in the future, and what type of life do you want them to have. Because without the critical thinking and the mass hurting with not much thought process, but just believing what everybody else is telling us, including maybe medical professionals or professionals who are accountants who we think are better than us, but they're not. No one's better than anybody in this world, and I've talked about that. I've told you that every single person on this planet is just as important as everybody else, and we all have something to bring. Just because you're educated or you're in a managerial position or you're in a position of power doesn't mean that you get to abuse that power. Because with great power comes great responsibility, and that's a responsibility to humanity as a whole, because we all are one. Definitely, we are all one. We are all connected, whether you like it or not. We're all connected, no matter who you are, what you are, where you've been, or where you live. So by using critical thinking and actually thinking for yourself, you can then come up with those answers to the questions that you're looking for, the things that you're not really sure about, the things that you're suspicious about, and that you may be just completely right. But by having critical thinking, you need to also have the strength to be able to stand in your own power and in your own truth and in your own belief, knowing that you have made those decisions from critical thinking and going out and doing the right research, etc., and stick in that place rather than go with the herd, let's say, that aren't doing any research whatsoever. So it's quite important to always be an individual, always think for yourself. It's all right to ask for guidance or advice, but it doesn't mean you have to take that on board totally. So there's several things you need to take on board. Number one is we can think with our mind, and our mind is the most amazing thing on the planet that can give us answers and come up with those questions that we need. The second place we go then is the heart, into our heart, and really stop. So what you need to do then is to stop and listen. Don't let the mind override the heart, because the heart generally is right, not wrong. That intuitive self, that creator who created us, and also our DNA and our cellular structure, which is unique with an amazing immunity to most diseases on the planet. And besides, if it's your time to go, it's time to go. You can't stop it whatever way it is and whatever is going on in the world. If it's time to go, it's beam me up, Scotty. So remember to be a critical thinker. Take responsibility for your own life. Take responsibility for your own thought process. And take responsibility for the fact that whether you make a good decision or a bad decision, you did everything possible to find out what the answers were in many different arenas, including the popular ones and the unpopular ones. And if you can't get the answers that you want to receive for instance, you know, adverse side effects, and they're not offering you any, then you have to wonder why. Why isn't there? And usually it's because something's experimental. They can't give you that access to that information yet. So sometimes patience comes into it too. It's worth waiting to see what results are there as far as risk assessment goes, especially when it comes to your beautiful body and you've only got one. So you want to look after it so you can live the best life that you can and the most intelligent, loving life that you can. Well, I hope you've enjoyed my video today, everyone. If you do like my video, please click like and click on the bell. And please do subscribe, because I need subscribers, because we all know how YouTube works and you need lots of subscribers, and I would love to have your support. So thank you so much, everybody. Thanks for being with me today, Mind Healers, and I look forward to talking to you in the near future. Love and light to you all. Bye for now.